Hi, my name is Lisa Anretta. I am healthy living and sleep coach. I can help you with your routine for improving your sleep. And I just wanted to go over the 4 stages of sleep when you're in your bed. First, before I do that, I just want to go over a couple of facts. One fact I found very interesting is that less than 4 hours of sleep is equivalent to someone staying up for 24 hours. Well, that's got to be modified a little, because if you have 4 hours of deep sleep, you're actually will be good to go. But if those 4 hours are just stage 1 and 2 sleep, which I'll explain in a minute, it's not gonna, it will be like staying awake for 24 hours. Eventually, when you keep in that kind of routine, you're always going to have a deficit of sleep, and that causes your body to break down in various ways, through memory loss, through you could over 10 years or more, you can end up with AFib, which are heart issues, a heart arrhythmia. You can have a lot of weight gain. Certain hormones are affected. So it is important to try to improve your sleep, and it's not something that will happen overnight. You will have to spend time, take time to set up your bedroom and, actively change the way your outlook is on sleep. I know there's a lot of people that have anxiety out there around sleep, around the bedroom. So there's a lot of, mental and some physical issues that can make your sleep worse. But if you're aware of it and you want to actively improve it, there are ways to help you. But what I wanted to do in this video was explain the 4 stages of sleep. So the best way I could do that is to draw a little picture, which I did. So I'm not the greatest artist here, so I admit. But the first stage, oh, is this backwards? Oh, it is. All right, so the first stage of sleep, which is stage 1, which is down here, is considered the light sleep. It's not even just light. It's like the zoning out, I call it. It's the part that the stage where you're in bed, you've done your relaxing, you're calm. You may be listening to the fan or white noise. You've emptied your brain of all your thoughts of the day. And, if somebody came from the doorway and was asking you a question, you might be able to answer them. So it's that stage right before you're about to go to sleep, and that's stage 1. Stage 2, that's like right here on the hill. Stage 2 sleep is your light sleep. That's the sleep right before your deep sleep stage. It's a superficial level. And, it's the stage where you're just lightly in, and, if somebody closed the door, you'd probably wake up. And I know a lot of people say, oh yeah, I'm a light sleeper. I've heard this before all the time, where they actually brag about, they're like, oh, I could sleep whenever I want. I could, at a drop of a hat, I could fall asleep. So I get a lot of sleep for the day. Well, actually, you shouldn't have to ever want to take a nap if you have the deep sleep that you need. If you are a light sleeper, it means that you could sleep all the time. That doesn't mean that you're getting good night's sleep at night, because if you were, you wouldn't want to have any kind of nap, or you wouldn't be able to go to sleep, at the drop of a hat, because you would never have the urge to do that. And you wouldn't feel tired throughout the day. You would have a level amount of energy. So that's the light sleep stage, which most people, who have a sleep issue are usually in that stage. Unfortunately, stage 3, which is the deep sleep at the top here, is not well attained by most people that have sleep problems. And it is extremely important to get in that stage of sleep, because that's where your tissues are repaired. It's kind of like when you're in that deep, sleep, and your brain actually kind of goes a little offline, and then it has a laundry list of all the things that have to be repaired within your body, and it starts to go to work and do that. So it repairs tissues, it rests organs. It's the area where your muscles start, repairing, and everything is just resting, or it's being repaired. And then some of the hormones, will level out during that stage, which is the deep sleep stage. And throughout the night, you will cycle. I mean, if you're having a normal pattern, you will go from stage 1 to stage 2 to stage 3. And then you might go down to stage 2, and then you might go up to stage 3 again, and then maybe 2, and then 1. It depends. Like if you're rolling over or something, you might end up in stage 1. Or if you go to the bathroom, you might end up in stage 1. Sometimes people are still kind of sleeping when they get up. And then if they get back to bed, they're going in from 1 to 2 to 3 again, in a normal sleep cycle. So, that happens several times through the night, in a normal routine. So then that brings me to the next issue, which is the sleep apnea. So anybody who has sleep apnea, which is an obstruction, what happens is when you fall asleep, your tissues can get a little inflamed. And when that happens, sometimes your throat closes up a little, where it gets like not as much air can come through. So it's called obstructive sleep apnea. Apnea means disturbance. Hypopnea is a type of breathing disturbance, and apnea is more of a physical disturbance in your throat, in the back of your tongue. And the more that happens, or actually every time that happens, you're starting over to stage 1 again. So if you have any kind of apneas, and you're waking up, or you're choking, or gasping, or even if you just wake up, you have to start from stage 1 all over again. So you have to start into 1, go into 2, and then hopefully get into 3. And, unfortunately, I've been working at a sleep lab for 7 years, and have come across probably thousands of sleep studies. And I barely ever see a normal study. And when I do see a normal study, I'll definitely analyze it, because I want to see how much time she had or he had in stage 3, because it's just curious. Like I never had a sleep study done. I wouldn't mind seeing a normal one, because I do get at least 7 or 8 hours of sleep. I don't really have too many problems. If I wake up at night, like I said, I am 50. So I am having some issues waking up at 3 in the morning and then can't get back to sleep. I'm not, super lady. I am starting to have a couple of issues with that. But most of the time I can repair everything the next night, because if I'm really tired, then I just go to sleep the next night and I can make it up. So not really like a major problem for me. But so the apnea is a real culprit, because that makes you go back into stage 1 and 2, and then you never really get to 3, because I hardly ever see sleep studies that show 1 or 2 apneas, and then that's it. If you have apnea, you're most likely going to have another apnea like within 30 seconds or a minute, and then it just goes from there. I mean, the highest amount of apneas I've ever seen was it was so crazy that I just felt like I had to call that person and tell them, you need to talk to your doctor right away. I never would say, oh, you have so much apnea. You know, you can't say that, you're not clinical, but I would say call your doctor immediately to get your results, because we've sent your sleep study results to your doctor. But I think the most I ever saw was like, well, the index for, it's like a statistical index that measures how much, or it'll average how many apneas you have per hour. So that it's called the AHI, apnea hypopnea index, and it actually averages how many apneas you have per hour. So if you have, say, 40.2 AHI, that means you had 40 apneas per hour. And that doesn't mean that you had 40. It's just like a statistical index type of number. So it doesn't totally mean it. In other words, you could have like maybe 75 apneas, but it might be averaged to like 40 per hour. So they average it because, you know, it does count. The sleep study does count all the apneas. So if you had like, I'm going to say a high number would be like probably like 150 or maybe 200 apneas in a night. So then it would average out to whatever that is, 25 or 30, or it could be like 4. I mean, I've seen 50 or 60 an hour. And if you think about it, 60 minutes in an hour. So this guy's having an apnea every minute. So he's never getting even to stage 2 if you have apnea that high. And so that's the truth of how much impact the sleep apnea world is right now. I mean, it's just like more and more all the time, you know. It's like, you know, apnea is most likely related to certain things. They call it the Epworth scale, which is they ask you a bunch of questions. You know, do you feel tired during the day? Do you feel like you could take a nap after lunch or after dinner? Do you feel like you're too tired to sleep? I mean, are you too, you feel like you're going to fall asleep while you're driving? Like questions like that. It's like scary stuff. And a lot of people don't even want to answer those questions because they know most of them are, you know, what they are. And you know, it's good in a way because it's making them aware. It's making them aware that sleep is a problem for them. But, you know, there's certain things also, like if you are male and your BMI is over 40, most likely you have apnea. If your neck size is more than 17, most likely you have apnea. So those are the types of things that, you know, you have more risk of. You know, if you have high blood pressure, I think is another one. So yeah, it's a problem that not a lot of people think that's a problem until they're like really into the problem. Like they're on Ambien every night and then they feel like they can't move during the day. Ambien and Lunesta and some of those sleep pills are like, you know, they actually disturb your circadian rhythm. So and then you always feel like you're sleepy. Like it might put you out for the night, but it's not, you're not getting a deep sleep. First of all, you might get, you know, 10 or 15 hours of sleep, but you're never getting into that deep sleep because it's kind of like artificial. And then you wake up and you feel like you can't wake up. And that's where a lot of people do call the sleep lab about, and they're like, you know, I want to get off these pills. So anyway, I just wanted to make you aware of these stages, and how important it is to really, you know, consider changing your sleep routine. Don't, you know, put the phone by your bed and, you know, every time it's binging, you're trying to look at it. The blue light alone is, you know, stimulating your brain. and it's not, you know, you can't get relaxed with that around. And so I just wanted to share that with you, the 4 stages of sleep and how important sleep is to your health. This is an epidemic that's just like growing and growing. I've seen it with children now, and you know, they're getting on CPAP machines at like age 10. I mean, it's just like, it's heartbreaking, you know? And so, hopefully, you know, this helped you understand a little bit more about sleep and the sleep issues that are out there. And, hopefully, you know, if you have any issues, you know, and you don't know how to go about changing your sleep routine, you know, I can help you with that. So I do have a website. It's nutritionintuition.help. On Facebook, and I'm on Instagram. Give me a PM, and I'll be able to help you with some of that. Thanks. Have a good day. Bye.